This is the cash perspective. What's the word, good people? My apologies, for not checking in sooner. I've been sick as hell, y'all. But I'm back. You probably still hearing my voice a little bit, but I'm gonna push through today. Make sure you go ahead and get that 1-2 to that subscribe button. Make sure you run down that like button and stand over. Today, we're gonna talk about Christopher Dorner. Dude up out of Cali, he was a cop. I typically don't give no play to cops on my platform, but dude was a little different, and we're gonna talk about it. Most of us should know how this story ends, right? It ended in Big Bend, California, in the mountain range. 9 days after Christopher Dorner began exacting his revenge on the people that he deemed as public enemy number one, police. All right, real quick on the background, Dorner was born in 1979. He was born in New York, but his people moved to Cali shortly after his birth. So he was raised pretty much in Cali, the West Coast kid. Now, when they went to Cali, they ain't go to the trenches, you know what I'm saying? So there wasn't no South Central LA type shit going on. They went to a nice middle class community, but Chris was the only black kid, you know what I'm saying, in his schools or whatever. So he always felt like he was ostracized. He was always left out. He always found himself growing up being bullied by scores of white kids that was around him. They pushed on him. His friends and the people that he's told these stories to is relaying it. I get the sense that they didn't really believe that it came from a place of racism, right? But the people that was telling these stories just so happened to be white, so there you go. Chris obviously believed it came from a place of racism, and that shit struck something in him. But he was a different type, right? So, a lot of people might rebel against society. They might turn sour. Instead, it made him want to excel in the right ways. Like, he didn't want to go to the streets, so he went to college after high school. Then he went on to the military. His people, the people that he was in the college and in the military, they all described him as very intelligent, very competent, you feel me? Athletic, you know what I'm saying? He was a likable person amongst those crowds. But even then, right, he felt like, his college football coaches, he felt like they was racist. He was vocal about it. So then after college, he in the military. Again, he's seeing bullshit. He peeping discrepancies in policy. He's peeping double standards. He's peeping how this group of individuals will be disciplined versus this group and how they're being disciplined. He's seeing the hazing that's going on. So he's seeing all of this shit and he's vocal about it because that's just him, I guess, at this point. Like, if he sees something he don't like, he gonna talk about it, right? After the military, though, he get hired by the LAPD. And that's crazy because it's a lot of bullshit and corruption going on in police departments across the country. But LAPD, they notorious for it, you feel me? So, they got their blue line. So once he becomes an LAPD officer, he sees all this bullshit that's going on within the department. True to his form, he starts being vocal about it. There was one event, before I get to the event that got him fired, there was one event where he was in a van with some SWAT, I don't know. He was in a van with a bunch of the motherfuckers. And they was talking, and it was like 8 different conversations going on. And this is from his manifesto. It was like 8 different conversations going on. And he heard one of the officers in there call somebody a nigger. So he listened close, because there was so much going on, he could have misheard him. And listen again, boom, dude said it again. He turned around, he checked dude in the gate. Look, man, don't let me hear you saying that shit no more. Buddy ass told him that I said whatever the fuck I want to say. Like, who gonna stop me? Dude jumped up and choked him out. You know what I'm saying? They broke up the fight or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They separated. Then, when they go make their reports about the situation, he said only one other officer out of 8 had a story consistent with what actually happened in that van. Say, the dudes that was saying the words all freely like it was all good, they got a 22-day suspension, but they was paid for their suspension. So in his mind, he like, man, that's not really no punishment. You feel me? So that was something else he added to his little bucket of dislikes, his resentment, right? Then a situation happened where his partner kicked, roundhouse. I guess they weren't cooperating, but they said this lady, though, had a nickname, Chupacabra, amongst the department, and she wore that proudly because she was a little feisty little mother. And if y'all ever dealt with female officers, all of them extra feisty for no fucking reason. She roundhoused this dude, kicked him 3 times, right? Christopher Dorner, he goes right in, file a complaint. Like, man, how dare you, right? They have a whole hearing about it. He say during the hearing, right, the victims or the suspects, whatever you want to call them, his father came and was like, yo, immediately after the arrest, I was contacted and he told me that some officer had kicked him. Totally dismissed the charges against the woman who kicked Buddy. When they dismissed those charges, they turn around and bring charges back on Christopher Dorner. And when I say charges, I don't mean like criminal charges. I mean like internal police shit, right? They bring charges on dude. They tell dude, like, man, you lied on her. You made that story up. And they find him guilty. So boom, he terminated now. And now he feels some type of way. He like, what? Like, man, this shit, you know, because he standing on what happened. And he got fired because they protected their blue line. I guess he saw what, you know, niggas been feeling about police for years. They snakes, you know? Boom, he concocted a plan. He go to stocking up on ammo. He go to stocking up on guns. And he laying low and he biding his time until he ready to strike. Now, his first victims, right? Monica Quan and Keith Long. 2 squares, seemingly. No enemies, no street ties. They like, man, why did this happen? You know what I mean? It was confusing. It didn't seem like there was a motive. It was so random, right? City locked down. So the following morning, but early, like 2, 3 in the morning, he released a manifesto online. Now, in that manifesto, he talked about a lot. He talked about where he came from, how he grew up, the bullying that he experienced when he was a shorty. And he talked about his time with the Army. He talked about the racist bullshit he seen in the Army. But then he got on the LAPD and he went into detail of a lot of different incidents within the LAPD that he noted and that he didn't like. He had his high value targets and it was basically anybody with a uniform on. Now, the manifesto was extremely well worded. I want to say that because every single report I heard about the manifesto, it was a rambling manifesto. It was an incoherent manifesto. Like they, you know, put all these adjectives out there to describe it negatively because obviously they want to dismiss it as words of a madman. But it was extremely well written and extremely detailed. And he made it clear why he was doing what he was doing. He told them, I don't want any currency. There is no money or no other type of currency that you can offer me to make me back down or feel like this shit is not what it is. What I want is my name cleared. And he went on to talk about what his name meant to him and how important it was to him. And he already knew. He like, man, I know I'm not going to be here to see the restoration of my name. But I want my name restored. I want my legacy restored. Now, also in that manifesto, he talked about the people he was at and why he was trying to get at those people, right? His quote-unquote high-value target was white cops that worked at the South District who wanted to work there because use of force was more likely and they knew it would be overlooked by their superior. He wanted them out the way. He wanted to smoke black cops, the ones in ranking positions, the ones that took those positions knowing that they was going to be able to get back and have some retribution to the lower ranking white cop. So therefore, that culture of hate is perpetuated. And he realized that's how they were contributing to this toxic culture that was or is the LAPD. He wanted to smoke Hispanic cops because he saw too many of them get down on the poor immigrants who was new, probably over here illegal, allegedly, and they would call them wetbacks, slap them, beat them, treat them like dog shit, right? All in front of other officers of other ethnicities, right? And they did this because they wanted to fit in and be more accepted in those circles. So they would do this to their own people. Dude saw that, he was like, man, I'm not impressed. And I think that's some coward shit. So y'all gotta go to it. He said the lesbian police, the high-ranking positions, the ones that use their authority to promote misandry and degrade male cops, they was high-value targets too. He said the Asian cop who stood by with the complacent-ass attitude of, I don't like conflict, they gotta go to. Now, at first it was such a mystery, right? Like, you know, this was before he came out online and took responsibility for the murders and released his manifesto. But before, it was like a mystery. Like, why would they do this to this young couple? The whole time, Monica Quan was Randy Quan's daughter. Randy Quan was a captain at the time within the LAPD. Randy Quan was the same guy that represented Christopher Dorner at his administrative hearing, you know, when he lost his job. He represented him, so he was on his side. He was trying to defend him. Apparently, Chris didn't feel like he fought for him as hard as he was supposed to fight for him. So he couldn't get Randy, I guess. So he smoked his daughter. And I guess the boyfriend or the fiance was just collateral damage. And he take responsibility for them two bodies and he releases a manifesto. Now 12 scared as hell. They nervous because he done told them, I'm at y'all ass. 12, like, you know how they is. Them, you know, if you ever dealt with them, you know how scary they is. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as they realize, like, man, it's a real threat at their head, they get to tweaking, doing crazy shit. So now the manhunt is on. They looking for Christopher Dorner. And they paranoid as shit because they know dude got LAPD knowledge, military tactics. He dangerous, right? They understand this. They know what they up against. So now they so paranoid. Any pickup truck can get it. It was a mother and a daughter. They deliver a newspaper, you understand? They see a pickup truck. They had heard on the radio Dorner might be that way and he might be in this type of truck. Police was there. They was obviously already sitting there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if this was their hangout spot. I don't know what, but it was a lot of them out there. Turn the corner to deliver their newspapers. They didn't even get a visual confirmation. They just got the blowing at the back of the truck. I don't know how they met, but neither one of them died. I think the mother got shot twice, and I think the daughter, the passenger, she got like a cut on her finger or some shit. She was super lucky. $4.2 million lawsuit. But the crazy part is, the officers that shot blindly was never prosecuted. Another one that the prosecutor failed was in Torrance, California. Dude was driving in a pickup truck. He get to a roadblock. Man, he done already verified his credentials and all that shit. They tell him like, man, we got an investigation going on. You know, find another route. Buddy busts a U-turn. He driving on back in the opposite direction now, right? They cross paths with a Torrance police car. Torrance police immediately get on bullshit. As soon as they see the pickup truck, they gut it. Ram them. Boom. The female on the driver's side, she hop out. She wasn't quick to blow. She wasn't thirsty to blow because she realized she didn't have a good line of sight, right? The passenger, the dude, he was stuck at first. So he couldn't get out immediately. He finally get up out that bitch. As soon as he get up out, he boom, boom, boom. He sent 3 through the driver door. Whole time though, the impact from when they rammed him had slumped Buddy. He was leaned over in the seat. So luckily he didn't catch that 3 to his noggin, because that's definitely what Buddy was aiming for. But that was twice that these people that almost killed innocent people, and neither one was prosecuted for their actions. Actually, the prosecutor declined to press charges because he said, yeah, pretty much in a nutshell, the events were so extraordinary, it was so stressful that their actions kind of warranted the situation, because the situation was just crazy. And in my mind, so I'm like, because I'm nervous, right, I can shoot anybody at any time. Is that what you saying? You know, it wouldn't fly for a nigga like myself. But that's how they got off though. Anyway, the manhunt still continues though, right? So while they hunting for him, he's still hunting for them. He pull up in Riverside, California, right? He stop at a red light. He see 2 police officers in a marked car. What do? He stick his AI out the window and he get the blowing in the police car. He smoked one of them, critically injured the other one, pulled off. Nothing skied off, none of that shit. Pulled off calmly as hell, like nothing ain't happened. After that happened, you know, the stakes has been raised now. All resources poured into this case. They looking for dude. You feel me? They said thousands of police officers was called in on this case from all around California. Feds and everybody was pouring in on this case. That's how big of a threat Dorner posed. So they ain't got a single solitary lead on. Then all of a sudden, they found his truck, or the truck he was supposed to be in, burnt up outside of Big Bend, California. So they merge on the area. You know, this is a ski resort. This ain't even like a residential town. This is a ski resort. So they ain't used to seeing nothing of the sort, right? Thousands of cops merge on the area at once. They searching all the cabins, and it's thousands of cabins. And on top of that, the weather is not on their side. It's snowing, it's cold as shit, but they searching these cabins. You know they scared as hell. You know, he could be in the trees, he could be behind the tree, he could be behind the rocks over there. Like, ain't no telling what dude gonna pop out at. And if he pop out, he's effective. You know what I'm saying? So he taking something out. Meanwhile, while they searching cabins, Dorner, where he at, he's setting up for his last stand. He getting ready to go out with a bang. He barricaded himself in one of them cabins deep in the mountains, right? So now, the two police officers that found him and engaged Dorner first was both two young dudes. One was named Alex Collins and the other one was named Jeremiah McKay. They both came up out the San Bernardino Sheriff's Office, and when they approached Dorner, or when they got near Dorner, he just got the busting, so the report goes. So they returned a few rounds, and then Collins took a face shot, a chest shot, and he shot him in his ass. K, on the other hand, wasn't that lucky. He took several shots to his head. No, he was dead right there on the spot. Then he continued to blow at every single police that pulled up. He held the police back by himself for over 2 hours. No negotiation. He don't want to talk. We can shoot it out. So boom, 2 hours later, you know, SWAT trying to figure out a way to get in. This is the bullshit they pulled, right? They say they threw a smoke canister in there and tear gas in there. At the same time, it was a spark and a flame started. They said they started it by accident. And you know, I don't believe that for one fucking second. They set that cabin on fire to smoke him out. As soon as they set it on fire, radio shot to him out. This side is totally engulfed. Watch that backside, because he might run out this way. At the end of the day, I know that's the type of games they playing. They was out there in the snow for 2 hours. They not finna keep, you know? So they was gonna figure something out. So as the cabin burned, they say they heard a single gunshot. He ended life on his own terms. Now I'm sure people got a lot of different feelings about this situation, only because people have a lot of different feelings about police. Sometimes in life, reasonable men have to do unreasonable things. He felt like that was his only way to send a message. So I say, long live Christopher Dorner. Now you wanna know.